Hey there, YouTube. Cheers. Drinking a little zero sugar Powerade. Thought I'd get on here for a few minutes with another. Let's go for a spin. So I haven't made one in a couple of weeks, but I did still have out last week's stuff, so I thought I'd get on and do that. I want to keep this uh, brief, so I won't be too long. Thanks for watching. Pray that everyone is doing well, taking care of yourselves, staying warm in this upcoming cold weather here that we're looking to potentially experience in the Midwest. Uh, so let's get into it. What I listened to last week. I did. I do have a few albums here. The first one that I listened to last week was this classic from Queen, Jazz. This album was released in 1978. Let me pull it out here. 1978. Nice gatefold. This also comes with a nice insert and the original poster that came with it as well. I won't show the poster. Um, but this is a 2023 reissue. You know, I hadn't played this album in a while. A couple of years ago, I think it was. I have this on CD also, and I put it in the car to listen to, and I piecemealed it, listened to a little bit here and there, but I hadn't played it in a while, and so I was glad to listen again. This is a 2023 reissue. I got this last year on pink vinyl. I got this last year, and this is a half speed master. For those not familiar with half speed master, I'll put a link uh, below in the description so you can read about it. But in a nutshell, it's just essentially where the record is as when they master it. Half speed means that it's played initially at half the speed. So a 33 and a third is played at 16 and two thirds, and then they make a copy of that, and then that's what they use to master the record with. And so there are some benefits. There are pros and cons to half speed masters. It can really bring out a lot of the texture of a song. You can hear some of the instrumentation a little bit better. It's also gives more time for the needle for the head to read each groove as it's being recorded. The downside is it distorts more low end frequencies, you know, bass. So there are some pros and cons, but this is a 2023 reissue that was done through um, Walmart. And so I really enjoyed this album so much. And you know, I think there are a lot of songs on here that get lost. Of course, we know Fat Bottom Girls and Bicycle Race; those were the hits from this album. But to me, I really like Jealousy and Let Me Entertain You. Then on the B side, um, Dreamer's Ball, the disco-y fun it. And a lot of people criticize disco music. I don't mind disco music, but I like Fun It. And my favorite song on this album probably is Leaving Home Ain't Easy, a really beautiful ballad. And so I was glad to get an opportunity to play this album, and I'm really glad. So this album, the median price was around $25, but now on Discogs, and to me on Discogs, and it's why I'm not using it as much now. A lot of these sellers are putting up stuff way above the median price in worse condition than maybe a VG plus or a condition record. And so when I looked earlier today, these were going for $35 now on Discogs, this same pressing. I did see there is I want to say it was a 2017 reissue. So this is the latest reissue in the U.S. There was a 2017 reissue in the U.S. on black vinyl. That's going for about $20 now on Discogs. So if you want to save a little bit of money, you can get the black version of that. But it's a great album. I was glad that I listened to it. Um, Again, the next album is this classic, Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's the Way of the World. Again, I had not. Well, you know what? I played this record. I want to say around the holidays um, last year on the Columbia label, and this is an early um, pressing. This album came out in 1975, and got a really nice gatefold, kind of to me a haunting photo of the band. This album, I like every song on this album. It opens up with "Shining Star," one of my all-time favorite songs, and then "That's the Way of the World," another beautiful song. But the jovial, happy feeling song that's next, it's just a really good feel good song that I really, really enjoyed playing. Then the ballad All About Love. And on the B side, I do like Yearning Learning. I prefer the live version of Reasons, but the album version, in my opinion, is not bad. Um, but then the instrumental, what is it, Africana, beautiful song. I really enjoyed that one. But then the last song on the album, See the Light, is just such a beautiful and inspirational song. And so I was really glad to listen to this album. And I will probably keep that out and play that again real soon. And that album, sadly, I'm of the belief that records are just being overvalued. I know this album sold millions of copies. There's got to be thousands out there for sale. But when I looked on Discogs today to get a decent uh, a copy, and I mean that's something VG plus or better, it was $15 or more, which I think is a bit excessive for an album like that. It's a great album, but it's a common record. I don't think we should be paying that much money for a good used copy of that album, but that's just me. Anyway, moving on. The next album I played, yeah, Weather Report, Black Market. This is another absolutely gorgeous album on that Columbia label. And Weather Report is such a great group. I mean, you had so many great, talented jazz musicians that went through that group over the years. Narada Michael Wall, Joe Zawino, Jaco Pastorius. The list goes on of really great jazz musicians that were a part of this, I think, institution. And so this album is really nice. This album was released in '76. I want to say, um, yeah, I believe it was '76. And on here, the first song, Gibraltar, absolutely wonderful, up tempo, happy song. Some of the other songs on here that I liked were Black Market, Three Clowns, um, Elegant People. This is a really good sounding album. I really enjoyed listening to it. I highly recommend if you have an opportunity to grab a copy of this album. I think you should. I looked it up. And again, it's going for around $8 to $10 for a decent copy on Discogs. again, I do like to buy local, um, but sometimes I can't find things locally, and so because there's only really two good record stores here in my area that I go to. But this is a great record. I looked it up. They were going for about $8 to $10 on um, Discogs right now, which is not a bad price. On to some jazz that I listened to last week. The great pianist John Wright and his classic album Mr. Soul. This is a classic album from 1962 on the Prestige label. And sadly, there are no reissues of this album on vinyl. There was an original jazz classic OJC reissue on CD in the mid '90s, and a Japanese CD reissue sometime in the 2010s. And this album isn't completely ridiculously priced. Although the median price on Discogs when I looked it up was $40. They were selling a little bit higher than that, but these were copies that were just in good condition. And so sometimes to me, a lot of jazz records were really played. And sometimes when you find a jazz collection, either that person really took care of their collection and things are really pristine, or everything is just beat up. And I feel like jazz records just got played a lot. I do collect a little bit of classical music. Almost every classical record that I've ever bought was just pristine. Even if it's 50, 60 years old, it's just pristine. But jazz is a different question. And I think this is a really underrated artist. John Wright, he's on the piano, Wendell Marshall on the bass, Walter Perkins Jr. on drums. And so when I initially found this album at a local record store some years ago, I had never heard of John Wright before, and I just saw these three musicians, and I'm thinking, wow, there isn't much, really going on here. But they really, really jammed on this record. And so John Wright has, I don't know, 6 or 7 albums. This is the only one that I have. I do have some of his on my want list, and one of his albums, and he spent a lot of time in Chicago. One of his albums, I don't remember what it's called, but it was just reissued this year, and it's on my want list. And I am planning on, if I order stuff online, which I don't know, record store days coming up, I'll probably spend some more on that. My car's in the shop right now. I haven't had a car in the last the last like 3 days, and so I don't know how much that's going to cost me. Prayerfully, it won't be too bad. Um, but I don't know if I'm going to order a whole lot of music on Discogs over the next month or so. A lot going on here, but when I do order that John Wright, I want it to be one. But anyway, on here, my favorite is side B on here. The title track, Mr. Soul, Shake, Strut, and Now Hang in There. Really great tune. Side one, it starts off with all Our Waltz. Nice mellow tune. Nice for a lazy Sunday afternoon. Blue Prelude, What's New, and Everything's Gonna Work Out Fine. Those are good songs, but to me, side B is absolutely killer on this album, and I really did enjoy listening to this. If you can find anything John Wright, I would encourage you um, to make that investment. I know it may be a little bit pricey, and I get it. Uh, I'm almost to the point of buying more CDs just because of the price of records out here, which is another video. Anyway, the next record, it was a little bit of comedy for the week. The Great Red Fox, On the Loose. This record is from 1967. is when it was released. It's a live recording of his. I don't know that it says on here where this was ever recorded live, where it's at. Yeah, it doesn't say what comedy club. It's on the Loma label, which this was a division of Warner Brothers. But it's a good album. Um, it's not that expensive. I paid $10 for this at a local record store some time ago, but when I looked it up online, these are cheap, selling for $5, $6 in pretty decent shape. Uh, it was it was a good laugh. Of course, it's not for kids, but if you just want to have a good laugh, and I wanted to that day, Red Fox on the loose. Time is slipping, so let's keep going. A little bit of gospel this week. Portrait of a Gospel Singer by Reverend Charles Watkins. This album was released on the Savoy label, as you can see here, on the Savoy label in 1970. I hadn't played this. I bought this album last year, and I don't think that I ever really played the whole thing. I skimmed it, and I gotta say, I was not. Um, this his voice is, I think, beautiful, but it was pretty much just him and an organist. It sounds like it was recorded in a church. The sound quality wasn't the best. Um, it just didn't capture me. I found myself after the first song or two. I found myself doing other things. I normally, when I'm listening to these records, I try to just sit back, relax, close my eyes, and just get lost in the music. This it didn't do it for me. And I can count myself a Christian. There is some gospel music that I enjoy, especially older music, but sometimes it just doesn't get me. And there's a couple of songs on here. Jesus Led Me, I thought was okay. His version of Balm in Gilead. Uh, and the last two songs, I Thank God for the Blood and I Must Tell Jesus. I thought they were okay. But this is an album that I was glad that I listened to it, but I don't think I'm going to be playing this very often. It may be a while before I do listen to this album again. It came out in 1970. I looked it up. Median price was about $12. If you are a fan, they are out there. But this one, in fact, one of and so I've been thinking about making a video about is there such a thing as having too many records, too much music. I used to think that there wasn't, but as I'm getting older and I keep up with my stuff now on Discogs, my catalog I have on there of the music that I have, and well, not all of it. I've got some of it up there, and I'm rethinking some of these things, and if I do decide to get rid of some records to thin out my collection, that's absolutely one that I would probably be okay with no longer having. Anyway, that's for another video. I did listen to two 12-inch singles last week, both Sergio Mendes. This one, Sergio Mendes and the new Brazil 77, The Real Thing. This is an absolute gorgeous song. I mean, this remix, the 12-inch version is, man, this Stevie Wonder uh, wrote this song. It's on that Butterfly label, uh, Electro Records label. This came out in '77. This record, it just makes me smile. I hadn't played it in a while, but this song, it's just such great energy. the lyrics to the song, the music. It's just a tapestry to me of musical greatness. And so I really did enjoy this. This sadly, this 12-inch single gets a little bit pricey. The median price on Discogs was $25. I've had mine for a while. I didn't pay that much for it. But if you can find, I mean, if you're okay with $25, paying $25, I think if I'm paying money for a record, especially a 12-inch single with maybe one or two songs, this is the one. This is a um, great song, the real thing. Then lastly, last week, and I'm sorry, that's a stock copy. I don't have a promo copy on that one. Then this one was Sergio Mendes from 1983, 84. Never Gonna Let You Go, which I think is a great ballad. It's a double A side. Both coming in at 355. Uh, Great record. I still remember the day that I got this on a 45. Uh, I think this is one of my favorite songs of all time, just like The Real Thing. I'm not a huge Sergio Mendes fan. These are the only two I have the LP that both of these come from, but that's all of the Sergio Mendes in my collection. And these are the only two songs that no, I think I have one other Sergio Mendes record, but I haven't played it in so long, and I don't even remember what it sounds like. But I don't think it was anything that struck me. But anyway, this one, oh my goodness, this ballad is so beautiful. If you're looking for a second chance with a relationship, this is the song to listen to. The vocalist Joe Pizzulo and Lisa Miller, beautiful voices on this song, and so that's what I listened to last week. I'm sorry this ran a little bit over. Please forgive me, but I just want to give a little bit more information on these records, and I'm sorry that Sergio Mendes Never Gonna Let You Go 12-inch median price is only about $5. So that one's not too bad. Even it's the same version as the 45. So even if you got the 45 or the album, they're all the same version. I mean, same. It's all the same version. Anyway, I want to thank you all. I pray that everyone is doing well, taking care of yourselves out there. Just be careful. Don't ever give up. It's tough. We're still here. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Have a good holiday. Spend some time with your loved ones and just enjoy yourself. Listen to some music. That's one of the things that I'll be doing on Thanksgiving morning. Just thankful that God has blessed me with the ability to buy so many great records. So have a blessed day. Thanks for watching and cheers.